I've been away too long. I did my best trying to be a rolling stone. It's just too good a time.
Hello, church. Welcome to another episode of At Solid Rock. I'm Simon McGinnis. I'm the Director of Creative Arts here at the church. And today I just want to take a brief moment and sit down with Pastor Stuart. He's been here for 3 years now. And I just wanted to sit down with him today and get into his heart and find out exactly who Pastor Stuart is, some of the memories he's had here, some of the highlights, and also where he sees Solid Rock going, and more specifically, the Wesleyan Church here in Newfoundland. So, Pastor Stuart, I want to welcome you here to a new episode of At Solid Rock. It's been different than what we've been doing before, because for the last 6 or 7 months, we've been focusing on you, and this episode, I decided to come from out behind the lens and sit down with you and have a more personal kind of interaction and just get into your heart and see where your ministry is and see exactly, like I said to the people, who Pastor Stuart is, and see what makes you just thrive in ministry. I've got a couple questions that I want to look at, and they're focused questions. And the first one is, you've been here now for 3 years, you're going on your third year. Could you share some of your, I guess, some of your thoughts on the last 3 years and when you were coming to Newfoundland?
Sure. Yeah, we first made a visit here in April 3 years ago, and I think one of the things that I've learned over the past 3 years is a lot about the geography and the beauty of Newfoundland. I'm sure it's no secret to anybody here that people in the rest of Canada have very little concept of how big the island is, how beautiful the island is, how long it takes to get here by vehicle and ferry. People on the mainland that I talk to have no concept of the fact that it would take me 24 hours by road and sea, even to visit our son in New Brunswick. So distance is something that people don't understand. But the raw beauty of this province, we've been to Twillingate, we've been to Grossmoor, we've been all over the Avalon Peninsula, and we never get tired of the beauty. We never get tired of what I call the magnetism of the ocean. So I've learned a fair bit about the geography and the culture of Newfoundland. Of course, Kelly and I have also been learning about what it means to be empty nesters. Up until we moved here, we always had at least one of our children at home, and apart from a few months when Heidi was with us and the summers when Ian's here, we're pretty much by ourselves. And sometimes we feel the distance from our children, and sometimes our parents feel the distance from us. But that's part of this phase of life, and we're learning about it as we go. The third thing is that I've been most interested in is that I've been learning a little bit about the religious history and the spiritual climate of Newfoundland. I've been doing some reading about the Methodist roots here and the beginnings of the Methodist Church, and how the Methodist Church has played a part in the development of Newfoundland. And I believe that those roots are still there and ready to grow and to bear fruit again. And I'm having that confirmed as I'm learning about the spiritual climate and what people want and what people are yearning for in their lives, that the types of things that only God through Jesus Christ can fulfill. So I guess I'm not too old to learn, and I'm learning some good stuff.
I want you to hold on to that thought, because my last question of our time, we'll come back to that point of the history and how important the Methodist tradition is here in Newfoundland and stuff. Can you take a few moments just to share some highlights over the last 3 years that have happened? Some significant events that you could say, yeah, that stands out to me as a real good event.
Well, very early in our time here, I can't remember. I mean, I think it was in our first year here, we decided to have an old-fashioned rally day and try and invite some former attenders to come back and visitors, and encouraging our own people to invite some friends to come. And one Sunday morning it just kind of came out of my mouth that I was hoping that we would have 90 people in church that Sunday, and we all just kind of chuckled about that. And when the day actually came, we had 87 here, and we were pretty excited about that. We were excited to come together as a church family and focus on a goal and focus on a project and work together. We have a great group of people here that are willing to get behind things that the church is doing. The young people are great, the children are great, the ladies are great, but I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think we have a wonderful group of men here. Sometimes in some churches men kind of take the back seat and don't get involved, but we have a good group of men here that are willing to get involved and to support things. So that was exciting. It was early in our times here, and it was exciting to see the church family come together. More recently, over the last 11-12 months, we've been working with the Avalon Church Plant congregation, and I've spent a lot of time with people in meetings, discussing the present, looking to the future, and so on. And it's been a real benefit and blessing to me to interact with a group of people who are really desirous of building a church and being a part of establishing our presence in this city. I mean, certainly that we actually stopped having services at Rabbit Town Theatre in St. John's at Christmas, but that wasn't the end of something. It was a stepping stone to the future. So for me, it's been a highlight to get to know the Avalon people and to interact with them and work with them and pray with them and see what God has. The third thing, of course, is I think that every church wants to see people making decisions for Christ, wants to see lives transformed, wants to see people growing in their faith. About a year ago now, last Easter, we did the cardboard testimonies demonstration here, and we had, 15 or 20 people stand up on the platform and just in a few words declare the difference that Christ has made in their lives. That was exciting. And then back last fall, it was a bit cool, but we had an outdoor baptismal service, and there were 4 people that wanted to take the step of being baptized by immersion, declaring their faith in Christ and giving public witness to the fact that they want to follow Christ all the days of their lives. So that was exciting, and I'm looking forward to having the same opportunity this summer and trusting that there'll be others that want to do a similar thing. So those have to be highlights that demonstrate changed lives.
Tell me, I've heard recently that the church just came through the Missions Fest or Missions Weekend. Share how significant that is in the life of Solid Rock.
I think that every church, not just big churches, but every church can play a part in global evangelization. I think that the Great Commission to go and make disciples of all nations is not just for mission organizations and big churches, it's for all of us. And so I'm excited that our church has a commitment to Wesleyan missionaries serving abroad. I'm excited that our church has a commitment to World Hope and my involvement with World Hope Canada, and I'm excited that our church has a commitment to spreading the gospel across Newfoundland, and I'm excited that our church wants to partner with organizations like the Gideons and InterVarsity Christian Fellowship who are doing missions work right here in St. John's. So I think missions is so important to us, and we need to have this kind of focused missions emphasis on an annual basis. This year we emphasized faith promise giving a little bit more, and I put out what I'm calling the 13-4-13 challenge, basically inviting people, if they've never made a faith promise before, to consider making a faith promise of $13 or $26 a month for the next 13 months to partner with us in this work of global evangelization. A faith promise is just that. You know, some people may be able to give out of their abundance, but for others of us, it may really be a step of faith, you know, trusting the Lord for some extra income or for some overtime at work, or pointing out to us where we can sacrifice in order to be a part of that work that God has called us to.
On that note of sending from the local church to the greater mission field, I want to bring it down to our province of Newfoundland, and I want you to share where you foresee Solid Rock going. And I know you mentioned the Wesleyan Church and the satellite ministry idea that you have. Share your thoughts on that. What you foresee coming out of this merger that we're having, or movement.
Yeah, I like the word movement because I think that's what it's about. It's not just about us building an empire or increasing the knowledge of Solid Rock. It's about us spreading out across Greater St. John's and spreading out across the province. I'm a believer in what's called incarnational ministry, the ministry of presence. And my dream, my vision is for us to establish a presence in more and more communities. And our model, which I think is a very Methodist model, is doing that without the expense of having to establish a church or buy a building in every community. Our model is about presence. It's about sending people out. It's about adopting people in.
So relationally, building up relations.
Yeah. And so, you know, one of the phrases I'm using is centralized administration, but decentralized ministry. I think sometimes new churches get tripped up by having to do so much of their own administrative and financial stuff that they have no time for ministry.
Exactly.
Our model releases people to do ministry and allows the people who are already doing the administration in this church to continue to do it on a broader level.
Excellent.
So, and I think that fits in with our roots, and I think it fits in with the spiritual climate here in Newfoundland.
Excellent. I want you to hold on to that, because we're going to come back in a few episodes down the road, and we're going to look more into the satellite model and kind of explore it more, so those of you at home can get a better vision of what Pastor Stuart's sharing here with me and what he's been sharing with us here at the church. So I want to thank you for taking your time today, and you at home, I want to thank you for coming and tuning in to another episode of At Solid Rock. I want to bless you and praise you for all that you do, your support, your prayers, and want to thank you for tuning in once again.